Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. So I'm going to be doing a video today all about my experience at York University. I'm a fourth year student. I'm in the healthcare management program and I'll be graduating this June. I thought this would be a really fun idea and hopefully it helps you guys if you're either a current student, a future student, or if you're just interested in applying to York. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me either on Instagram or you could leave a comment down below and I'll be happy to respond. So let's get started. I'm going to be dividing this video up, so I'm going to be talking about academics, social life, extracurriculars, and then I'm going to finish it off talking about job opportunities and internships. So let's start off with academics. Now, I can't speak for every single program, but my program was really small. There weren't that many people, and it's something that I actually really liked. So in my fourth year, one of my classes that I actually just finished, there were only about 25 people, so it was a really small environment, and it means that we got definitely more attention from the professor. And my other classes, they were capped at probably like 50 people, so there weren't a lot of students there, and it was really great. I really liked that we had the same professors for multiple classes because it meant that it was easier to network, and they already would know my name when I was in the class, so it just kind of made it more personal. And I would say that a really big tip that I have for students is make sure that you go to office hours. I didn't really do this when I was in first year. I did a little bit in second year, but I guess I didn't realize the importance of it. And I started doing it in third year. I did it a lot, and fourth year as well. And honestly, this is the biggest tip, because when you want to go to grad school, for example, or even working, you'll need reference letters. And also your professors are people who are in the field, they're already in the industry, so it's really important to network with them because they'll actually tell you about their experiences. They'll tell you about the grad programs, because usually there's not just one way to get there. There's so many different avenues. So I would say talking to your professors is a really key tip that I have. So now I'm going to be talking about social life. So I know because of COVID, everything kind of changed, but when I was in my third year, in March, that's kind of when COVID hit and everything kind of changed. So some of this definitely applies to before and some of it definitely applies now. So York University is a commuter school, so it means that about 70% of the students, they live in the greater Toronto area, and they do come to campus and then go home after. And there are some people that live on campus, but usually they're people who live a couple hours away, or they're international students. Now, I would say that when you commute to school, it definitely is a little bit different than if you were to live on campus, because if you were to live on campus, a lot of the other Ontario universities, you're forced to socialize with people because you live with them, you see them all the time in the dining hall, but we don't have that experience. So I would say that it's really important if you do go to a commuter school, you have to also put yourself out there and you have to be very proactive in meeting people. So for me personally, I sort of made most of my friends through student clubs, and then also talking to people in my class and in my program. And then through there, that's kind of how I made my friend group, and those are the people that I still hang out with today. Everyone on the campus is really friendly and they're honestly so open, they're really nice. But I did notice that in first and second year, this was true for me and I think for everyone else, people in their first and second year have a lot more time. By the time you get to third and fourth year, people are more committed to their academic work, they want to get into grad school, so people definitely have a lot more time to make friends in first and second year. For me, I kind of solidified my group in first and second year, and then in third and fourth year, you can still make friends, but it's just everyone has less time, so it's just important to keep that in mind. So now I'm going to move on to the third part of the video, which is extracurriculars. Now this is something that I really care about. And if you guys do have questions that are specific, because I'm going to be talking about this more generally, then yeah, feel free to message me. So York University has over 100 different student clubs. They have academic clubs, so an academic club would be Model UN, and then they also have a lot of different cultural clubs that you could join, depending on where your background is from. They'll have everything. They also just have different social clubs that you could go to hang out and meet people. And I really like this because I think it's a really important part of university and getting to network. So you might have seen the picture in my thumbnail. It was at the UN Youth Assembly, and that was an experience that I actually got for myself. So I applied to the program. I ended up getting in, but I was doing Model UN at that time, and one of my friends from the club, she also applied, so we both got in, and then we decided that we would go together. It was really fun because we went to New York and we got to meet all these people from around the world, and it was a really enriching experience, and we learned all about the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Later on, I went to different Model UN conferences, so we actually traveled around the world, and one of the biggest conferences that I got to go to was Harvard World Model UN. And so every year, basically, it takes place in a different location. So the year I went in 2019, it was in Spain, and it was honestly such a great time. I went with my university delegation, so there were about like 6 or 7 of us, and then we met people from around the world, and some of the people we actually knew already because we had traveled throughout North America and met them. So it was a really enriching opportunity, and I would recommend it to everyone. So after joining all these student clubs, I mainly did that in first and second year. So by my third year, I actually ended up working with the university. So I became an ambassador for them. So I went to different events, and I also got to meet people who were in the community. So a lot of like politicians, alumni, and I got to speak with them about York University's mandate and also like give them the perspective of a current student. I also created content for York University. So you could find that on their Instagram, and I really had fun with that. So it's on their highlight reel. I talked about my internship and also different events that York University is doing. And a lot of people, I would say, like they might downplay the importance of extracurriculars, but for me, it was something that I really enjoyed, and that's also how I discovered my interest. So even though I'm majoring in healthcare management, I sort of developed an interest in public policy because I got to meet people who were in the industry, who were in the legal field, the political field, and that's kind of how I also developed my own interests outside of healthcare. So lastly, I'm going to be talking about internships and also job opportunities. So there are 2 ways that you can get an internship. So the first way that you could do it is you could just apply online like everyone else. This is pretty competitive because it's open to everybody. So you're competing with people from across the province, and pretty much the only thing that they have to differentiate you from someone else is your resume and your cover letter. And so when I did my internship in second year, I worked for the Ontario government. I worked in infectious diseases there, and it was a really great opportunity because I did get to meet people who were not in my school and were not in my program. They were from other schools in similar programs, and that was really nice because I think that it's also really good to meet people who are studying the same things as you, but who go to different schools. Now, the second way that you can get an internship is through your school. So at York University, we have a lot of experiential education or experiential learning opportunities, and this is something that's very new. I know a lot of other schools are doing it too, and essentially what it means is that like students have the opportunity to get hands-on experience, and it kind of bridges the gap between like learning and then also putting it into practice. And so when I was in my 4th year, so this semester, I did an internship downtown and I got to work at a hospital. It was really great because other people who were in my program, we all got to go together and we presented our findings at the end. We did a big research project and then we presented it to the hospital executives, and I really liked that my professors were sort of guiding me along the way as well. So we got course credit and we had to do assignments throughout the class. But if you just apply online, you're kind of there with just you and the company, versus if you do it with your school is there to also guide you and provide you help as well. So a really big piece of advice that I have, if you haven't picked your school yet or you haven't picked your program, make sure that you check and see if there is some sort of experiential learning or some sort of internship, co-op placement, because I really think that these are really helpful experiences. You'll probably get hired after, and it is also a way that you can build connections and kind of stand out from everyone else. So I would highly recommend that. If you're in high school, make sure you check it out. I would also say that before you decide which program you're going into, make sure that you talk to someone, if you can, who actually finished the program, either if they're working or even if they're a current student. Try and chat with them so that you get their experience, you get to learn from them. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make it, and I hope that it helps some people out there. So be sure, if you did like it, to give it a thumbs up. Also make sure that you subscribe and share it with any friend who you think might be interested. So thank you guys, bye!